If you really think that there is a plot to Alice in Wonderland, there is not. And after all of these years, Disney Plus had it on and I finally had to watch it, and I'm so glad I did, because now I know there is no excuse for those live-action Tim Burton movies. There's just not. Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland is the cartoon version of the story Alice in Wonderland, and it's about the girl named Alice and her journey into Wonderland. Now, Alice is a very interesting character. I mean, she doesn't want to do school, she doesn't want to do studying, she just wants to disappear into her own mind and live in her imagination. And that's really what kids do. It's one of the freedoms that kids can have, if you know what I mean. But anyway, she sees this little rabbit running by saying, "I'm late, I'm late, I'm late." And she follows him, falls down a rabbit hole, and is in this crazy world that is called Wonderland. And while she's there, she runs into a dodo bird that is somehow not extinct, and she runs in a circle with all these characters for who knows what reason. She ends up having tea with the Mad Hatter and his crazy friend, and she also meets the Queen, that is a really nice lady, but has a fuse shorter than Donald Duck's, and you do not want to make her mad. And also, the Cheshire Cat is, well, how do I say this? He's kind of a dick. He really is. I hate to say language in these reviews because they're supposed to be kids' movies, but I can't help it. And you're probably thinking the same thing when you watch the movie on screen. You're thinking, that guy's a dick, really. And also, there's that caterpillar that apparently smokes out letters every time he talks. And if you really think there is a plot to all this, there is not. She's just following the rabbit, and she's just going through this whole crazy world that is Wonderland. I mean, the caterpillar himself is stoned on something. The Queen gets mad at who knows what. The rabbit is freaking out being late for something. And the Mad Hatter is completely bonkers. But you knew that already. Despite this craziness of a movie, I had a good time with this movie, because usually with storytellers like me, I can look at a story and kind of picture out what's going to happen next due to the circumstances that lead up to some certain moments. However, there is none in Alice in Wonderland, because the whole world is completely madness. It can go one way and it can go the other way. So say what you want. And it's one of the creative art forms of movies. You know, have you ever seen that painting where there's a stairway this way, there's a stairway that way, there's a stairway going down, and you know what I'm talking about. It's really the whole plot of this movie, and it's very creative. And they don't do it in a jumble of a way, and they do it in a way where it actually does make sense. They're following the small stories that were told by that one writer. I can't remember his name right now, but apparently he was good friends with his family, and he had a close relationship with their daughter Alice, which is, yeah, she's based off of Alice from the story is based off of her. And if you think that relationship sounds as creepy as it sounds, it was. But apparently they said it was normal in those days. Alright, enough of that. So, continuing on with the story. Well, Alice kind of gets unnerved by all these characters. I mean, she's trying to tell them exactly what to do, and they look at her like she's the crazy one. They do it in like an opposite effect, and then a rewind, all that such, but that's really what the whole story was. And when you find out at the end exactly what it is, then the whole thing makes sense. Alice in Wonderland just doesn't need a solid plot. It needs the madness. It needs the craziness. I mean, I don't need her fighting any dragon. I don't need some big battle going on, or people saying that she's back or what such and getting the name wrong. I just want to see a fun story, and this is exactly a fun story. So what I'm saying is, Alice in Wonderland is very creative. One of the most creative cartoons I have ever seen. So I will say Alice in Wonderland is legendary. So guys, Alice in Wonderland, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.